That's what understanding perspective is. You want to understand your perspective, turn it around. Because what happens is when we invalidate our perspectives, when we don't honor us as people, and we consider perspectives incorrect, what do? We react instead of respond. Wish I had a clicker for this. And our objective is to manage reactions. We don't want to react. We want to respond. If you're intelligent, you know the difference, right? Reactions are involuntary, knee-jerk. Responses are deliberate and conscious and choice. And since I want you to be a heretic, choose. Choose to respond. But we don't, we react. I remember being in the airport. I used to travel all the time for the software company. I remember being in the airport and sitting in a very crowded waiting area, and this elderly couple was sitting across from me. We were pretty close. And the woman was super friendly, talking to everyone. She and I chatted up and had a great little conversation for 5 minutes, and her husband just sat there reading his book or his magazine. And the whole time, everyone looked up. After 5 minutes or so, the conversation waned, and we went back to our things. She went to people watching. I was reading my book. And I could hear her, because we were really close. We're like, it's one of those really packed waiting areas, like this close. You can barely squeeze a suitcase between us. And she leans over her husband and she says, "I love you." And he says, "Hey." And she says, "I love you." And he says, without looking up or missing a beat, "That's okay, I don't like you either." I about fell out of my chair. Hiding behind the book. And the plane fortunately got called, and so we could get up and we could go. And as we're packing up our stuff and we're heading down the aisle, she pulls me by the arm and she pulls me back and she says, "You heard that, didn't you?" "Heard what?" She said, "You heard that." I said, "Yes, ma'am, I heard that." She said, "Please don't judge my husband." I said, "Ma'am, it is not my place to judge your husband." She goes, "I don't care what your place is. You are judging my husband." "Yes, ma'am, I am." I said, "That's a pretty harsh comment, don't you think?" She said, "Yes, if you don't know the backstory." And the backstory, quite simply, is I loved my husband since the moment I saw him. I was 14 years old. And 14-year-old boys do not like 14-year-old girls in my generation. And she said, so he didn't like me, and he never stopped telling me, "I don't like you." Until I caught him at 17. There's a frog in there. Things are not always what they seem. And we fell in love, became high school sweethearts. We've been together ever since. And my husband's term of endearment is "I don't like you," which in his words is, "I love you with all of my heart." But we react, don't we? We assume we know what is meant when people say what they say, do what they do, and that goes for us. We think we know what we mean, and we don't. Because we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. We're filled with interpretations. How are you choosing to interpret? When you go about the rest of this day, you're not seeing what is, you're seeing what you are, bless you. And you're seeing it the way you think they mean it. And I'm suggesting open up the possibility for other interpretations. Turn it around. How could it serve you? How could it be good if it doesn't align with you? And if it does align with you, how can it be better? What can you do with it? Where do you go from here?